We begin with developing news as the deadly crash in Randolph, New Hampshire that left 7 motorcyclists dead is now prompting the governor of that state to make changes to their own driver record system. Good Wednesday evening, everyone. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Beth Ward. Over the last several weeks, Western Mass News has followed the news that a backlog of unprocessed driver violations in Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles allowed a West Springfield man to drive with a license that should have been suspended. That driver, Vladimir Zakowski, was charged with an OUI in Connecticut a month earlier when he got behind the wheel of a truck and trailer in June. He's now charged with 7 counts of negligent homicide.
And now New Hampshire officials have discovered they too have a backlog of unprocessed violations in their division of motor vehicles. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joining us live with more on what officials found and what they're pushing to see changed. Audrey?
Chris and Beth, the New Hampshire DMV director says their backlog included 62 violations from commercial drivers and 13,000 notifications from regular drivers. They say none of them were the cause of a fatal accident in the Granite State, but officials say that backlog was a problem built up over decades.
More would come in than could actually be manually handled at times. So they were constantly being moved forward. They were there. They were in queue. It was just that the manpower wasn't there.
New Hampshire officials say the number of driver violations coming into the DMV became a fast-moving stream. And bottlenecking their process was the state's lag in automation.
The hope was that the new vision system, as it came online, as different modules came online, would allow a lot of this to be processed faster.
It's more of automating. And we're not asking for more manpower. It's just getting these systems to work.
But getting New Hampshire to fully communicate driver violations with other states like Massachusetts is currently not possible.
The law that is in place right now will not allow us to fully participate with the state-to-state information sharing on all drivers. So that will need to be addressed.
Right now, our interstate electronic system is really only for, I believe, real ID. We have to essentially break down that barrier.
New Hampshire officials made no indication they'd be following in Massachusetts' footsteps when it comes to the firing of their DMV officials. So far, Western Mass News has reported the Massachusetts RMV registrar at the time has resigned. And another official was fired last week.
I don't believe it was an issue of management, per se. We're talking about many administrations and many years of this pattern.
Officials insisting automation and legislation changes are the best fixes by illustrating the tedious nature of what DMV employees face every day.
They have been receiving paper through the U.S. mail from the courts, from other states. That process requires somebody to get the mail, open the mail, review it, manual entry.
Because of this New Hampshire backlog, 7 commercial drivers have received a suspension notice. 904 New Hampshire drivers had their licenses suspended by other states. Of non-residents who received a violation in the Granite State, more than 6,000 have had their licenses suspended. By comparison, more than 2,400 Massachusetts licenses have been suspended because of their backlog. Reporting live in studio, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.